Have you ever thought about sliding around on a bed of nails? Now, I didn't just say lie on a bed of nails. I mean, people actually do that. But what about scooching around, sliding with those nails trying to hold you up? That just doesn't seem like a very comfortable proposition to me. In fact, it's not, because there isn't much material in that surface to hold you up. The idea of the amount of material in contact with your skin is an important concept in the world of surface texture. If I was to rub this red surface against this black surface, we find that the black surface doesn't provide a lot of support. There may not be a lot of durability there. So looking at where is the material, or do we have enough material to do the job, was exactly the topic at hand when the earliest surface texture measurements were made in the United States. At the University of Michigan, two professors, Abbott and Firestone, were considering and studying how surfaces wear. And their thinking was it has a relationship with where's the material. So they generated a famous curve to describe where is the material, and it was called the Abbott-Firestone Curve. Today we call this the material ratio curve. Now, their work was in the early 1900s. They didn't have computers to help them decide how much material they had. They had a ruler and a profile graph, and they did something like this. At this depth, we will slice through the surface, and we see that it's mostly air until we get to this little peak right here, and then again we're seeing a lot of air. At that depth, we might have seen 2.5% material. We measure it with a ruler and measure the length of material, and we plot a point at that depth of 2.5% material. If we slide down here and slice at this depth, we're going to see a lot of material and then air, and then a lot of material until we get to that valley, and material until we get to that valley. And we're going to see at this depth that we may have 81% material. So on our plot, we're going to slide over to the graph and find out where 81% material is, perhaps somewhere around here. At the top of the highest peak, we have 0. At the bottom of the deepest valley, we have 100% metal. If we sliced at that level, it's all metal. And we would see that we would form a curve, perhaps something like this. It's kind of an S shape that falls along, and you can kind of get a sense from my sloppy drawing here how this would form. With lots and lots of slices, we get a better defined curve that tells us where is the material. How deep would we have to go for this surface to stop wearing away? Maybe at an 80% contact, things get better, and how deep do we need to go to get there? Or maybe at some situations at 90% contact is where things stop wearing. So the shape of the curve actually tells us something about the shape of the surface itself. This surface has a lot of material at the top, and the material ratio curve for this plateaued surface would look something like this. It would be a case where as we go down, we quickly encounter a lot of material, and then we see the region where the valleys more slowly add material as we go deeper. Similarly, if we had a surface that was very peaky, for example, a turned surface or a surface that's full of coating nodules and lots of widely spaced peaks, for example, maybe a bed of nails that you're thinking about sliding around on. I sure hope not. This surface doesn't have much material, and in fact, the very top, and as we work our way down, we still don't have very much material at this depth, and the material ratio curve for the bed of nails or the turned surface doesn't go out to 100% until the very end. We gain material very quickly at the bottom, but we have to go down a long ways to get there. So the shape of the material ratio curve tells us something about the shape of our surface. We can actually put numbers on this, like the material ratio parameter RMR, or the family of parameters associated with RK that we're going to cover in a future video. So for the time being, think about the material ratio curve as something that tells us about the shape of our surface. Where's the material? And stay tuned for some parameters that describe the surface through using this curve. In the meantime, if you're thinking about lying on a bed of nails, check out digitalmetrology.com first.